If you need to use ArcPy to find out how many features are in a feature class or a table, then this video is for you. Let's check it out. We'll start with the documentation for the GetCount Geoprocessing tool available in the Data Management toolbox. This returns the total number of rows for a table. I'll scroll down to the parameters where I've clicked into the Python tab, and here we can see the syntax arcpy.management.GetCount, and the only parameter is in rows. And there's one derived output, a row count, the total number of rows for the input, and it says that the data type is long, which I'm going to show you is incorrect. It's actually a string. So let's head over to our script. Here I've defined a variable called fcPath, which is a path to a feature class in the Geo database, and that feature class is named pointsFC. Now I've no clue how many features are in that feature class, but I'm going to use ArcPy to find out. So here we are using the GetCount Geoprocessing tool from the Data Management toolbox. We saw the syntax over in the documentation, arcpy.management.GetCount, and we set in rows to be the path to our feature class. We are going to print what is returned from the Geoprocessing tool that we assigned to the variable feature count. Now, feature count is actually a result object. When you call a geoprocessing tool using ArcPy, a result object is always returned. Now, when you simply print the result object, the first result in that result object is what gets printed. And just to show that we can access the first object returned from the result object, we'll use feature count and we'll use index of 0. Here I have commented out where I'm casting the feature count to an integer. This will fail with a type error because we cannot cast a result object to an integer. We're then going to print the type of the number returned, which we're going to see is a string. We're going to cast that string to an integer. We're also going to see that when we call the getCount geoprocessing tool that a result object is returned. So if we print out the type of feature count, we'll see it's a result object. Result object has various properties and functions. We're going to use the output count function to show that one output is returned from the tool, and that we can use the get output by feeding in the index of 0 to get that one piece of information returned from the geoprocessing tool. So let's run this script and assess. Okay, so we printed just the feature count variable, and we got 54. Now we don't know if that's an integer or a string or a long, as the documentation states. We then printed feature count with an index of 0, and we got the same 54. We then printed the type of the feature count with an index of 0, and we can see it is a class string. So the number returned is a string. We then casted that to an integer, and of course we still got 54. We then printed out the type of the feature count object, which we can see is a result object. We then used the result object output count property, and we see there's one output. We then used the result object get output method, and we supplied in the index of 0, and we got our number 54. So as we can see, we can simply access the feature count using the result object straight away. We can use an index on the result object. We can cast it to an integer. We can also use the result object get output method and supply in the index for the output, and also retrieve the number of features for the feature class or table. I hope you found that information useful. There's a link below to the blog post that contains the code used in this video.